where we discuss. Welcome to the show. Fuck.
I'm blind, Matt Murdock.
You're blind, Matt Murdock. Welcome to the show where we discuss Marvel's Netflix miniseries and discern the truth about why this show stands above the rest. The elements of quality storytelling that other shows are blind to. But not this show. So join us as we start Discerning Daredevil. I'm blind Matt Murdock. Oh my god. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. What tripped me up? Tonight we're talking about episode 11, by the way. Did I mention that? No, I didn't.
No.
That's exactly what tripped me up, because in the whole thing I have written down, it's like tonight we're discussing the first.
Well, it is the first of Marvel's Netflix miniseries.
Oh my god. I thought it was... Wow, that was like a total moment of dyslexia there, because I thought it said the first episode. Wow.
Tiki's blind, Matt Murdock.
I am, apparently. I'm dyslexic, Matt Murdock.
Well, it's not as interesting. Just, oh, is he blind? No, he's dyslexic. Oh, well, it's moderately impressive.
Wow. Okay, well, give myself a big old pat on the back for that one.
Well,
anyways.
Tell the folks what the name of the episode is.
The episode is, let me put the sunglasses back on for dramatic effect. Path of the Righteous. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, I gotta tell you, BlueDragonFive, rewatching this episode, obviously, you and I can both agree that the scene that really sticks out here, it's definitely Karen's episode, and what really sells it is what happens at the end, the big standoff, the confrontation, the high noon Wild West showdown between her and Wesley. But I gotta tell you, like, all throughout this episode, it really surprised me. I don't remember this episode being as eventful as it was, but man, this is like a great sort of way to, a great first part to the end of the first season, the great first act.
Oh, yeah, it is.
There's a lot of stuff being set in motion here.
There's some great, I think, rewatching this, I noticed how much great kind of thematic stuff they got with Matt in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff is really on par with this episode. He has great progression, which we'll get into. So
with that in mind, let's get into the plot.
I mean, folks, we got a lot of plots. I'm just going to get through it as quickly as I can, kind of compressing it, if I may. So let's see. So we
compress it like that evil bus driver compressed that bus load of Pokemon onto the Game Boy.
Even the younglings. So Fisk is remaining by Vanessa's side as she gets rushed into an ER after her poisoning. After we see some Looney Tune action going on at the beginning of the episode. Which we do.
Yeah. We do.
Karen informs Matt about the Vistan lead and wants some answers. Matt obviously a little trepidatious. Foggy's mainly sad during the episode. He's very sad.
I'm so sad.
Don't do that.
Hey, you have my laughing kryptonite on me. I have my laughing kryptonite on you, all right?
Okay.
You know I could go into Miss Piggy Norma at any moment and just end you.
Okay, so Leland has concerns about the attempt on the fundraiser.
Yeah.
The owl suggests that the good old owl suggests reaching out to Gal. Well, it's suggested to him, why don't you reach out to Gal, see what you can find out, see if she's behind things. Claire checks Matt's wounds and offers some advice, some support. Ben and Karen have an apology for the mislead. Again, kind of a little bit of false hope, a little cruel on Karen's part, but again, in the service of great good.
Mm-hmm.
And basically trying to kind of convince him to go forward with the story, even though there's not a lot there. Wesley consoles Fisk, who wants revenge and wants Vanessa moved to a place of safety. Matt and Father Latham chat. It's not Reverend. He reveals that he knows Matt's secret, and the idea is the devil as a symbol is kind of in the cautionary tale associated, which is kind of put out there in Matt's eye, so to speak. After a chat with Turk Barrett, remember, or they don't call me Turk Barrett. After a little chat with Turk Barrett, Matt finds Fisk's body armor tailor, Mr. Potter, the good old Mr. Potter. Wesley goes to attend attend to Marlene Visten, see what's up with her visitor she got there, which is not good news for Karen. Melvin Potter and Daredevil, after a little fight, they make a deal to stop Fisk, save Betsy, and to make him a symbol.
Oh yes.
Karen tries reaching out to Foggy, and in the end, Karen has a little chat with Wesley that ends up with someone dying, and I don't think it's Karen.
No, good guess.
And that's the episode.
Right.
A lot of plot in the episode, but that's
yeah. It's pretty heavy. So, with that in mind, with as broad strokes as we can possibly muster, let's get to the arcs. All right.
So let's start with Matt, as we always like to do, if we can.
Well, he is the main character, so makes sense.
Course.
Only makes sense.
So this episode, Matt's arc, I think Matt had a fantastic arc this episode. He really was on the learning curve this episode. He's learned from his past mistakes the last 2 episodes. Of course, his mistakes being, he let his emotions kind of charge his action, which led him to the fight with Nobu and his defeat at the hands of Wilson Fisk. And of course, last episode raked him over the coals for his decisions and realizing the folly in that.
Mm-hmm.
So right off the bat, Karen approaches Matt with a monkey balloon, which is hilarious
and sweet, very sweet. I thought.
I love it. She knows to describe it to him. It's a monkey on there. So Matt is also Matt is like still. Where is he? No, he's not here. So.
Oh, that would be great. If only. He just pops up. Did someone say my name?
It's like Beetlejuice. Just gotta say it 2 more times.
You're here in spirit, monkey.
Yeah. Anyway, so again, Matt is like, it's a real learning curve. Matt is very progressive in this episode. Like right now, he's still kind of like this last kind of vestige of like the other friend confronting him about him keeping people in the dark. Like, don't tell him it was a car accident. She can tell this story's bunk. She's tired of being in the dark, and Matt is realizing a lot of Matt's arc revolves around realizing kind of the realities of things, the realities of his path that he started, just like, the lone man trying to fix Hell's Kitchen, much like Wilson Fisk, which that parallel is very strong in these next couple episodes, along with this and that kind of that last 3-parter in a way.
Oh yeah.
It's really starting to sink in the realities of what he's going to have to do to achieve his goal of like being able to do this along with his friends and, not leaving them behind like Stick 1 and 2. It's something he has to adjust.
I'd say a big part of this episode is just kind of Matt sort of coming to terms with his relationships with Karen and Foggy. Yeah, or not Karen and Foggy, I'm sorry, Karen and Claire. In terms of, he knows, like, with Karen, it's more kind of like a guilt thing. Like, Foggy definitely sort of planted that thought in his head of, like, like she's going to be culpable, and also, just the lying, the blatant lying. So Matt, he's really not trying to lie when Karen asks, like, what happened and don't tell me it's a car accident. He's just like, it's complicated. He's just trying to brush it off in a way. So
yeah,
it's really like he would love nothing more but to tell her, but it's just such a conflict on his mind right now.
Yeah, Matt in this episode, he's looking for clarity. He's looking for like kind of a way to do things better. That's really kind of a subtext of what he's doing this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he's also another scene of him accepting realities big time is, as you mentioned, with Claire.
Oh yeah.
So we get a really great scene. We see they definitely still have feelings for each other. They might like something romantic, but as Claire is smart enough to realize, again, Rosario Dawson doing a fantastic portrayal of Claire here.
Rosario Dawson, just awesome.
Oh, of course. And she's mentioning, she's smart enough to know it's not in the cards, if he still set down this path, but she's always willing to support him. Let me just kind of play a little something to kind of exemplify that, if I may.
City is safe from people like this. Which is never. There'll always be something, someone. You know that, right?
Very Batman-like ideology right there.
Oh, yeah.
He told me you were the man the city needs. And I think that was only half true. I think you're also the man the city created. I'll always be there. When you really need me, to patch you up. You know that? Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, really nice. And like we said, it's definitely Matt sort of coming to terms with it. It's like he cares very deeply about Claire. And I really do like how Claire is just so sharp that, she absolutely knows it's not in the cards. This guy is never going to stop doing what he's doing.
Even if he does take down Fisk, there's going to be another guy down the line.
Exactly. Like I said, very Batman-like idea right there.
Now, what's so great about this, and again, in terms of Matt's arc, and as I mentioned, kind of facing realities and kind of forward thinking, and Matt's just been kind of doing things a little sloppy this season. Don't get me wrong, it's effective. It's at least to an extent, it's effective. But then again, things keep crumbling around him. Like, he's almost been near death twice so far.
Mm-hmm.
With Nobu, and of course in episode 2, he's been near death, and Claire at both of those times that have saved him. So again, I love that she's the one kind of bringing this clarity to him. Like, she's bringing up this idea of kind of an end game of like, you're going to be doing this forever. I mean, I believe in you, but you're never going to have like a life if you do this. And it's kind of that thing is Matt's coming to terms with this episode. So let's see. So then we get the Father Latham conversation that lets him. It gets Matt thinking he needs to reassess his approach. As I've been kind of mentioning here, it's just this great thing he keeps building, especially in this scene, is where its foundation really gets laid here. That you're one man, essentially he's saying you're one man trying to make a difference, and it's nice, but in a one-man war, you're not making much of a difference. You're just one guy going up against this huge machine by yourself, and you're lucky to come out of it alive. He needs to be a symbol. He needs to build up a legend like the devil, which is a great little kind of parallel.
It's such a good analogy.
The idea of what's the ultimate kind of the cautionary tale, like the ultimate kind of like, hey guys, stay in line, or else something bad's gonna happen to you. Like the angel, it's the fallen angel from grace who kind of went south, and he kind of became this huge power of fear and terror.
And then he dated Saddam Hussein, and it got really messy, and all kinds of stuff went down. But yeah.
But seriously though,
sorry. South Park.
I love that they're kind of building up the legend, legend.
It's like the third time that Sully's fallen. He's taking a beating tonight.
Right. But seriously though, it's just this great idea of kind of building why it's Daredevil, and going by the name Devil of Hell's Kitchen. He's really kind of making that a name here, and kind of this episode does draw a lot of parallels to Batman Begins. The whole I need a symbol, to
absolutely, for sure.
Stuff. It's a lot of that, but in its very distinct way though. It's like kind of bringing up the rationale of that. Well, yeah, you have been trying to make a difference, but just been very vigilante. Like, you need to become an ideal. Again, a lot of Batman Begins in there, but it's. Matt fell from grace, as he mentions to the Father here, that he tried to kill a man and he didn't. Do you feel relieved at that? Well, yeah, I do. Well, that's the thing. He had he made a bad decision, and that's him. This is him coming back from. The question is, what does he turn himself into? Does he do things smarter? Which he does. And I love the subtle idea here that, of course, pays off by the last episode. That if you're in Hell's Kitchen of all places, what better than if you take on the visage of the devil to inspire people to kind of stay in line or kind of take charge. He's a guardian of Hell's Kitchen who would preside over that than the devil himself.
Definitely.
He basically it's a place where everyone else is given up on, and he's the one inspiring them. Don't give up. Seek that justice.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very, very interesting idea. I really like that with Matt here. Again, with his arc here, just kind of learning he needs to be more superhero than just vigilante.
I also like the fact that the priest, basically always knew that he was the man in the mask.
Oh, yeah. He's not an idiot.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying I like how it's brought up almost casually, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know, I really like, I see where you're going for in terms of the priest being Matt Murdock's James Gordon.
Well, I mean, I think you're right. It's more Alfred than Gordon. I'll give you that one, definitely.
No. Let's give it a mix of Alfred and Gordon, because I think that, he definitely, much like Gordon, he knows exactly what Matt's doing. It might not stand in line with his career, with his path in life, but it definitely kind of stands in line with his ideology in that, of course, Latham wants to see the city change just as much as Matt does. So it's a very fascinating dynamic there.
And again, I like just kind of, again, they really know how to balance the religion here of just, he is it's like, how do you compare your hero to the devil and make it work? And they pulled it off.
Right, right.
And it's astounding. It's like this idea of like the fall from grace. So Matt's made his mistake, and now he's coming back stronger, and that can be just kind of a show of strength to, the rest of the world. It's like, how did Batman become the effective force he is? He kind of build up the myth of like, do you know if the guy's human or not? That's what they're doing with Matt Murdock. It's like it's what they're doing with Daredevil, and that but if you're in Hell's Kitchen, I mean, you've lost all hope, and just crime everywhere. Well, how do criminals not commit crime here? Well, it's just it's all around them. It's the devil's place. It's Hell's Kitchen. So who are you gonna look to as the owner of this place?
Oh yeah.
Like the buck stops there with that guy. Okay, so speaking of which, let's see. So I guess we get this great kind of continuation of that, just like him evolving his methods, which I really love with Matt's arc here and his progression, is that he's learning to talk things out. He's learning do what his father said in a way, and continuing the kind of the devil parallel here, Jack Murdock. Well, less devil, just more like Batman, Jack Murdock. I'm thinking of the movie for a second. Jack the Devil.
Yeah, that's a little bit of
so I meant, like in the movie, it was I think the comics too, it was like Jack the Devil Murdock. Sometimes you go back and forth on it.
In the movie, it's definitely Jack the Devil Murdock.
Yeah, I mean, also sometimes in the comics, I think they kind of, whether it's inspiration from the movie or like original, I'm not quite sure what the line is for that one, but sometimes the point is Jack Murdock in a similar route of like what his father said of like, he wants him to, use his brain over his fist. He doesn't want to fight in the scene with Melvin Potter, which we'll get to that. Let's just say he finds a creative solution instead of just beating the guy up.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and put a pin in that scene until a little later.
Yeah, put a pin in that. He's learning from his past defeats, and we'll get into a little specificities of that later. So let's see, anything else in particular with Matt here? No, that really ends for him right there.
Yeah. All right, do you want to go over like the quick cliff notes for Foggy, because he doesn't really have a lot?
Oh no, I'm just saying we'll just lump Foggy and Ben in with Karen. Let's just talk about Karen.
Okay, but so where do you want to go chronologically? Because Foggy has a couple scenes that are a little out of order.
Well, I mean, let's starting kind of what we talked about with Karen and Matt here. She's desperately looking for answers. She's part of this family now, as we've seen. With her arc up to this point, between being inducted into the Nelson and Murdoch organization.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, organization comprised of two guys.
But really, what sold this episode for me so much was Karen's evolution. I really feel like this is where she comes into her own as a character, and honestly, that's saying quite a lot for me, because if you remember, for a long time I was hesitant to watch this show past the pilot, specifically because I didn't really like Karen in the pilot. I just thought like, oh, well, it's the classic kind of like, I just saw her as too much of a classic victim. I didn't like that she got saved by Daredevil right off the bat. Totally flipped around. I mean, she has such a badass arc in this episode, and I love it.
She does, and it's just this great idea with Karen that she knows something's up, and she doesn't want that card, because as we mentioned before, but more importantly, she's smart enough. She's so. She knows some legal moves now. She knows like how to get to the truth. Again, she's learned from Matt, and she's learned from Foggy. And what's so great about her character in terms of how much she's evolved. And I think that's what this episode is for everyone. It's everyone kind of evolving from how they started in the first episode. That's what kind of this 3-part ending almost is. It's that showing how far everyone's coming now. Like the real storm's about to brew in the next two. It's like this, like the storm is just like it's now hit like storms here. Next episode's like dealing with it. But it's that she's confronted by her past defeats in a way, of like kind of her past flaws. She's become stronger and more put together on this path. She was kind of she's kind of emotionally fractured by the whole like a friend of hers at work. It was killed right in front of her, kind of Gus Fring style.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, I mean, she wakes up and she's like being arrested as she's looking the guy right in the face. It's horrifying. She's been through a trauma, and her friends took her in there and kind of made her part of something bigger. And you're absolutely right. She's become stronger for that reason, given her last choice of the episode.
But it's such a natural evolution, I think. It's really well done in that regard.
Remember, Karen's the one who's driven the Fisk thing after everyone's given up. She's the one who says, no, we have to nail this guy. Because remember, without Karen, we have no show. Because literally, we have no show because remember, she could have just left. everything would have been fine for Fisk and everyone. Nothing would have changed.
Pretty much.
But, because she kept pursuing it, because, she's been the driving force, and she's very important. Again, it's fun to see her kind of take charge. Like, she's trying to shake Foggy out of apathy. She's saying, look, tell me what's going on. And, we'll put Ben in that. But,
yeah.
stuff, too, like with Ben, she realized, yes, she lied to Ben, and she feels bad about it, but, it's the only way to get this story made. And another thing with Karen I noticed in this episode I thought was really interesting with her progression, that's still an element of her character might be interesting to explore, is that she's coming to terms with kind of the lies. Because remember, the first episode, she lies to Matt, and they call that into question. She lied to him in the pilot episode.
Right.
It's mentioning in the first episode, mentioning that the whole Union Allied thing, just like, I was lying to protect you, which of course definitely relates to what Matt's going through, lying to protect people. And she's kind of taking ownership of these lies. She lied to Ben, but for a good purpose. And she's using the lies to her advantage now.
Mm-hmm.
And just using the lies to the advantage is kind of a parallel with kind of what Matt goes up against. Just kind of lies against. He's a seeker of truth against all these lies. Yet lies have been kind of his greatest ally over the years, as well as Karen using these lies to her advantage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to think here. We had this great scene where she has a reconciliation with Ben in a way. She's like talking with him on the phone, essentially saying she's sorry, and she means it. And it's a really sweet thing. And let's just say it's kind of somewhat of a swan song to our Karen and Ben scenes.
Oh God, is that the last time that they speak to each other?
I believe it is. Yes.
That part.
It compounds it. It really does. Let me see if
does. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Like,
yeah.
I knew that. I know where Ben goes in the next episode, but oh man.
First of all, let me build up, Ben, a little bit with this thing right here. So let me just say, Ben has this really great line, just establishing the history of Hell's Kitchen, that he's been in this place, just emphasizing he's the old reporter who knows his stuff here, and just get a bit of this right here.
That's the only time that we see Ben in the episode, right?
We see him in two scenes. So this scene where he's talking to Karen, and then the next scene was on the phone with her.
Right, yeah.
So we got this playing as a really profound line that relates to Wilson Fisk and the information they got on him.
I've been writing about crime in the city since before you were born. The only thing I know without a doubt is you don't get to be the man at the top without making enemies looking to tear you down to the ground.
Oh yeah.
I was just say, we haven't really rewatched the others quite yet, but I believe that the next one's the last time they had a moment of, goodbye.
Yeah, that'll definitely be something to look for, but I think you're right. I think it would be very appropriate thematically. So.
Right. So here we go. It's a beautiful moment here, folks. Get the inside out tissues.
I need to make those still. I need to find some stickers with the inside out characters on.
Yes.
All the preventing. Well, I don't know where to find those. Okay, I've looked.
It's called eBay.
I don't trust eBay. Anyways.
All right.
Thank you, Ben.
I didn't say I was writing that story.
No, I know. Just thank you for being there, for caring.
You too.
Talk tomorrow?
Oh man.
Talk tomorrow.
Oh.
Now,
Knife just right in the heart, if that is in fact the last time they speak.
that's the
Knife
thing. So I'm
right in
not
the heart.
entirely sure, because I think he still has a scene with his editor, and I want to say like all the events that follow is progressed in one night, but I'm not so sure because that editor scene now is coming to me. But I think it might be the last time they speak. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Regardless, it's impactful knowing some foreshadowing for the future.
I also really like when Ben points out, Karen's like, well, everything's falling apart, and Ben's like, well, that's right around the time the stories the story gets interesting.
Oh yeah.
I really just like that kind of support he gives.
Yeah, and of course, Karen refusing to be a victim and a liar during it's like lies have been something she's used a lot of the time, and then finally in the final scene of the episode, we'll put a pin in for a moment. that, just kind of became her greatest moment of change there, when she can just, like, not lie anymore, not be a victim anymore, and just take action. Which, again, this whole episode's about her being kind of a strong pillar within the Daredevil universe,
Definitely.
Okay, so let's move on to someone we usually save for the ending, but because of the circumstance of this episode, we're going to talk about him now.
Well, this is the ending of the arcs, right?
Well, no, we have talk about Fisk right now.
Yeah, but who's the last person on the arcs besides Fit?
Well, Wesley.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were doing a whole arc for Wesley. Well, great. That's going to confuddle my notes a little bit.
We'll see where that goes.
Awesome.
So, Fisk.
Awesome. Fisk. Yes. I did not know that. Oh, it was probably in the message that
yes.
I didn't get.
We'll talk about it later.
Because you sent another message on top of that.
I did.
Yes, and I didn't get the previous message. So there you go.
All right. Let's get...
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, Fisk.
Okay.
So, Fisk obviously worried for Vanessa. He's guilt-ridden. Absolutely, he's so guilt-ridden over her because she was right by his side, and I think. I think we should hear it from the man himself. Hear it from the Kingpin, the man who would be Kingpin. One could say, if you want to connect some Marvel times there. I'm sorry, a little bit of build-up with some Cabal action, by the way. It's a little bit of our favorite comedic character, Owlsley.
Oh, of course, he's.
You stick with Cal.
What? She said she was deeply saddened and ordered a fortune cookie or some mystical shit.
She sounds sincere.
Well, I know she was speaking in Chinese. I don't think the guy translating for her liked me very much. He kept staring at me funny.
Funny how?
Funny! Who cares? He said she'd stand with us if it comes to that. Believe her. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, so as you can tell, the organization is still kind of faltering around Fisk at this moment, while he's a little distracted by Vanessa. So again, Gal's words are kind of true there about that definitely being emotional weakness for him, which again, very similarly, wonderfully paralleled with Matt's arc of emotional weakness.
Mm-hmm.
It's something he's even mentioned that he understands emotional weakness more than anyone. Basically, Fisk here is just he's reached a low point like Matt last episode. So this is him. He's kind of raking himself over the coals. Where last episode, the low point would be Vanessa being poisoned. This is the part where he's just raking himself over the coals, like saying, "How could I let this happen?"
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's just he's in a place where, and keep in mind, everyone was kind of warning him against being out in public. And the second he's out in public in that sort of very setting where he's very exposed, this kind of thing happens. And of course, the thing that he regrets, the thing that he really is gnawing at his mind is that, as he says so eloquently, he promised Vanessa that the safest place she could be is at his side.
Goes a little something like this.
Go ahead.
You need to find it in this. You need to. I want to look in their eye. What is out there with their blood? Understood. I told her the safest place she could ever be was by my side. She's lying in there because she was by my side. Make the arrangements. If she recovers, I'll send her away. Somewhere far from me. In the city. Yeah, she would want that. No, we seldom get everything we want. Not in this world. Some of us deserve to.
Very sweet moment between those two guys, by the way. Just saying,
yeah.
You deserve basically saying you deserve a happy ending, fella. That's essentially what he's saying to his buddy there.
Mm-hmm.
But But again, interestingly enough, again, like the rest of our characters this episode, Fisk, he's looking towards the future. He's thinking, well, I've been careless now, so thinking how I can improve myself is that obviously she can't be next to me, whether she likes it or not. I want her safe, so I'm going to get her out of the city. And he chalks it up yet again to like the city taking something he loves away from him. That's Fisk is just kind of like, again, Fisk, whenever he gets to a low point, he gets poetic about it, and it's awesome. But, it's like the city is taking away his happiness once again, and it's so draining to him. You feel bad for Fisk, and we feel bad for Kingpin up to this point because we've gotten to love this romance. We want these two kids to get together.
Yeah, we do. Come on.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get this absolutely beautiful vow he has to the unconscious Vanessa fighting for her life.
It's beautiful and terrifying at the same time.
Absolutely. Again, it's just so poetically read by Vincent D'Onofrio.
I don't know how to pray. My father was not a religious man. My mother wanted to be. I think needed to be, but she never quite found it within herself. I'd seen it in movies, watched it on television. I read it in books when I was a child. After I was sent away, I tried to mimic words, sentiment, but it was false. It was imitating a thief. I can't pray for you. All I can do is make you a promise. One that not even God, there is such a thing, can prevent me from keeping. The people that did this to you, they will suffer.
Very beautiful, very Shakespearean, very nice.
It's moments like that that make me scratch my head at the fact that Vincent D'Onofrio was by far the stupidest part of Jurassic World. I mean, how did that happen? It's an anomaly.
Well, it wasn't bad, it was just bland. That was the issue. It's just, he didn't really bring anything to it. It just wasn't.
And it was just the fact that the character in his own right was just like, I don't know, like I rewatched Jurassic World and I enjoyed it. I do enjoy that movie, but
That's the thing. I mean, he
D'Onofrio.
didn't have a bad plan. I mean, he brought up potentially interesting stuff, but he just didn't have any time to grow with it.
No. Let me make this clear. D'Onofrio's plan in Jurassic World is fucking terrible. Just awful. Anyways, this isn't a Jurassic World podcast.
Anyway, but I love the parallel too. Again, as I mentioned, the parallel between Matt and Fisk is always brilliant. It's just this, the idea of his father wasn't a religious man, of course, contrary to bringing Matt and his ties to religion.
Oh yeah.
Of course, mother turned to religion because how could she not, being in a relationship like that with Bill Fisk? I mean, come on, guy was a prick.
A little bit, just a little bit, yeah.
I mean, no, a little bit.
I'm being sarcastic. Give me a break.
But yeah, seriously, really great stuff with Fisk, and your heart goes out to the guy. So another reason we're going to feel bad for Fisk, let's talk about Wesley.
Oh, boy. Yeah, Wesley.
A little eulogy for Wesley. That's what I'm saying. All I'm really saying with this.
Well, his arc really does kind of come to an end in a very poetic sort of way, because he was always Kingpin's yes man, and much more than that, he was always one of the very few people that Kingpin actually considered a friend.
Yeah, Wesley truly, he wasn't just a flunky you'd hire off the street. No, not by any stretch. He truly admired Fisk, and he believed in what he was doing. He saw the good in his actions and his end goal. He truly befriended Fisk. He helped him pick out wine. He helped him fell in one of Wesley's last actions. Well, not his last action. One of his actions within the series to Fisk was he helped him fall in love. How beautiful is that?
Exactly.
I mean, I can imagine. It's a shame we don't really have a lot of time to dedicate to it within this season. But I mean, if there was I'd love there to be some sort of callback to it next season. I'm not sure if we're going to get that, but I'd love just to be like a moment of just Kingpin kind of being
You're a good friend, Wesley.
Yeah, like a bit of like just like grateful to Wesley for introducing him to, allowing him to, get into the heart of Vanessa. He's allowing him this kind of that happiness in his life. That'd be wonderful. Be kind
Wesley, your exquisite taste in wine is why me and Vanessa are happy to this day.
It'd be
Thank
kind of
you.
it'd be kind of sweet if somehow like if they ever do. I don't know if they're going to go this route, especially if season 2. It'll probably be down the line. But if they ever do the season where Vanessa is pregnant,
Oh dear.
she has the baby.
And they name it Wesley.
Well, I mean, Wesley, that's the thing. His name's James Wesley. So still, even if it's just like James is the middle name, either like it can't be James the first name. It has to be Richard. Like
Yeah,
Richard.
that's what. Well, I'm thinking. Wesley James Fisk.
Well, no, I'm thinking it has to be like kind of Richard has to be the first name though. If they that's that
Why
is in the comic. I'm saying in the comics it's Richard Fisk.
No, well, screw the comics.
No, regardless, I'm saying that it'd be kind of nice if it was like kind of like Richard James Fisk or Richard Wesley Fisk.
Richard Wesley Fisk. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be kind of nice.
Okay.
Regardless, I'm just saying. So again, it's just Wesley was always kind of a nice payoff for that. Not for he always he took joy in his job, and the power never lost. He enjoyed the power of the job. He took joy in that. He mentioned he's disgusted by the city, and you had that position of power where he could say something like that, but he never lost sight. He's never like money hungry. He never tried like double dealing the boss. He never like, oh, I hate this job. No, he had this fantastic line. He said he is needed. He hates this city, but he is needed. He serves a purpose, and that purpose, of course, serving his buddy, the Kingpin.
Right. I love how he breaks down how a lot of the time he often doesn't really see what Wilson sees in the city, but he just feels devoted to him in a way. He feels loyal. Loyalty is really the main thriving point with Wesley and Wilson here.
Yeah, one of his last actions, literally his last actions, is telling Francis, one of the henchmen guys, put extra guards on him, make sure he's okay. He's like fathering Wilson in a way of just make sure he's taken care of. I'm trusting my baby to you guys. Make sure he's taken care of. And it's sweet in a way. It is. And primarily, it's kind of like it's more than friendship. It's like they're brothers almost. It's beautiful if that's the way. It's like the brother he never had.
I mean, to make a pretty clear connection, it's very much like Gallivant, or very much like the King and Gareth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot like that. But also, I mean, if you read into it, it's kind of like he takes care of Kim. It's kind of the father that he hated in his youth, but he loves now actually having a real father in a way. I would say if you want to look at it that way, because he does, he's always there for him. It's like that's emotional support, whether you're father or not. Just he needs that emotional support that he doesn't get with his mother anymore. Never got with his father. So I mean, he has that with Wesley. Wesley is his family, and it's a beautiful thing. And it crushed me when Wesley got killed, but it was a moving thing.
But at the same time, it was fucking awesome for Karen, though. So that's why it's such a conflicting scene. You know what I mean? It's like this awesome, empowering thing for Karen. At the same time, it's like, yeah, wait, what? No, Wesley, no. But yeah, Karen, but no. But yay, Karen, but no.
Yeah, Wesley was such a great character, and
he was. He totally brought it.
Yeah, like he was like putting the coin on the pinball machine. He had so many great moments, and so
that's still one of my favorite moments.
And again, he's there for everything. He's like Kingpin's killing the guy with the car door. He's just like wiping the blood off the suit. He's there for him.
I call next.
Oh, I'm gonna miss Wesley so much.
I will too.
Yep. Okay. So I guess that's all we got for our arcs. Then again, Wesley's arc kind of came full circle. Kingpin's downfall is looming. Then of course Wesley his safety net has to go before that happens.
All right. So now let's explore the many ways that this episode dared to be different.
You start us off.
All right. Well, I'd say you pointed it out earlier, but one of the big points is just goddamn how it's a feat of writing comparing your hero to Satan and making it totally work. I mean, that's a feat of writing right there. That's impressive.
It's also kind of funny that we're soon going to have a show. I don't know if it's on NBC. It might be CW. The point is, we're going to have a show soon that it's called Lucifer. It's based on a DC comic that's about Satan as an anti-hero of some sort.
Right.
It's just it's it's amazing how popular Satan is these days.
Okay.
You wouldn't think it. But with this episode, though, I mean, as I mentioned, the thing I'm most impressed by this show, you really don't get. There's such a great progression episode. Such great progression for Matt. Like, this is an episode usually for many shows takes many episodes to get to this point of like him coming to this learning curve, but all in one episode, and it sells you on it. Like, he's now. We've taken 2 episodes to see him as low points. He's gotten the 2 low points by now, and now it's just like him kind of rising from the ashes in a way, and it worked perfectly.
At least the start of that process.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's not fully. I'm just saying the journey. Like, he's now learned, and he's applying that to kind of our final stretch of the season.
Mhm.
But still, like, he's on the right path now. He's learned a lot since then. And there's no stagnation whatsoever. No one backtracks as they haven't with any of the other episodes. This episode's all motivation, all moving the plot forward. And it's fuel for Fisk. I mean, everyone's kind of. Fisk's arc is fueled by his passion for Vanessa. It's like they're not losing any steam with this.
Oh yeah.
There's injury. There's some other little things too. Just a few little things like Matt. I like how they have injury continuity on Matt. Like we see all the stitch marks on him from Claire stitching him up. Like the guys, it's amazing the guy's walking around.
It really is kind of a feat. Yes, it is.
It's like he's the Scarecrow, like a horrifying version of the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz. It's like. One false move and it's all going to come out.
The confrontation between Wesley and Karen at the end of this episode, I definitely think it's a feat just in terms. I'm sorry, I keep saying the word feat a lot. I apologize for that. It's impressive. What?
What are you, Quentin Tarantino?
How did I know you'd make that reference? Thank you.
Because I'm So he too can play at the
Normie! Oh, Normie! I love you so much, Normie! Let's go do South Pacific together!
Bite the eel string!
All right.
Yeah, enough of that. Okay, so you were saying?
Oh, dear God. Just the fact that it's like a dialogue-driven scene, but it is so incredibly tense. And it goes on for a long chunk of time. It goes on for about 6 or 7 minutes of just those two just talking.
And it's never boring.
No, it's always just edge of your seat. Like, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. I think that Karen's arc is just really impressive. I think it is kind of like not necessarily groundbreaking, but I really do like the fact that Karen started out in such a vulnerable position at the start of the series, and now she really is the one spearheading this whole, going after Fisk. So it's a really good progression for her.
That's what it is. It's a progression episode.
Oh yeah. Any other things you can think of?
Yeah, real quick. Just as I mentioned, I'm really impressed by just kind of with all the progressions, mainly centered around kind of the big picture goals of like kind of looking towards the future of things, which we got to think, how we're going to evolve our methods. We got to look to what we're trying to achieve with our goals and how we got to change our methods to accommodate that. It's just like, our hero retooling his methods in one episode too. It's like, it's really impressive. Like he's changing his methods up, it's like he's interrogating more strategically. He's not fighting when he doesn't have to. A few other small things. Again, obviously, we got our emotional our emotional scenes and a lifetime of history within a monologue with Wesley talking to Karen. There's establishing you buy he would take a bullet for the Kingpin just in that speech.
Totally.
Like you can almost picture like a young kind of Gallivan style. It's like a young Wilson Fisk and Wesley as pals together.
Well, I'm only 12 years old, but I'll try my best, sir.
Seriously, that'd be kind of cool, though, seeing the young Wilson Fisk we've seen in the flat. I know it's completely impossible. I'm just saying, imagine like the young Wilson Fisk we saw in episode 8, buddying up with like a little
with a young kid with glasses,
but in a 3-piece suit, though. It's like,
oh god,
And they're in an arcade together, and just like, Fisk is like in his seat. And he has hair, though. That's the important thing. He has hair.
They're in the arcade, and fucking Wesley puts the quarter down and says, "I call next." Oh
No,
my
says,
god!
no, here's the thing. He says, "We call next," with like Fisk behind him, like, waiting, looking peeved, like, ugh.
Yes,
Waiting.
yes. Writers of Daredevil, please. Please, writers of Daredevil, oh, please.
That's never gonna happen. Okay, anyway.
No, shut up. Shut up. That will happen. It's in my brain now. It already has happened. All right, anyways.
Little kid versions of all our Daredevil characters would be hilarious.
You know, like we mentioned last episode, like young Matt Murdock going to the Nelson hardware store.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm picturing Foggy, like a young Foggy, just sitting there eating glue. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for thinking?
No, he wouldn't be eating glue.
I'm just imagining like,
like 3-year-old Foggy, not like 10-year-old Foggy.
Right. I don't know. That image just comes to my head.
I can imagine like 10-year-old Foggy lusting after 10-year-old Karen.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And just like I'll picture this real quick, like him like nudging like Matt Murdock to the side there. Of course he's blind at this point just for the argument. And he's just like saying, "Hey, look at that, huh? And she's like, "No, I don't see that, Foggy."
Mm-hmm. We need to wrap this up as soon as we can.
Okay. Also, they gotta believe the one-night stand that didn't make us hate our protagonist or one of our protagonists.
Right.
Yeah, because then the Marcy thing's been established, and it's not like not like, oh, I'm actually in love with this person again. No, he doesn't. He's depressed, and it was a moment of weakness. They got perfectly. Okay, so blinding moment here.
Okay, well, I was going to build it up, but yes, let's get to the blinding moment of awesome.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, well, we can both agree, first of all, that the real blinding moment of awesome in this episode is probably the Wesley and Karen confrontation. But with that in mind, we've decided, since that's just an easy choice and we would both probably be fighting for that choice, let's just kind of take that off the table. So I already went into it, so I don't really have a ton to say because we already covered it in Karen's arc a little bit. But my moment of awesome is just Karen confronting Foggy at the bar and really sort of coming into her own in terms of her being the one that cares about the city, in terms of her being the one that cares about the cause and really is fighting for it while everything else is sort of crumbling around her. And I love it for a number of reasons. It's just seeing kind of Karen and Foggy's relationship almost fall apart in a way. Not necessarily fall apart, but just Foggy just closing himself off to her it's kind of heartbreaking. It's definitely heartbreaking in terms of they've been so close for so long on the show. But I really do love the line, like, why don't you get your heads out of your asses and help do something about it before there's nothing left of Hell's Kitchen to fight for? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like I could just see her saying that is like I could just see her with Matt and Foggy in a locker room and her being like the coach and being like, now get up there, get your heads out of your asses, or else there's not going to be a Hell's Kitchen to fight for. Just, seriously, she kicks ass. She really does. So that really is it. I mean, I don't really have a ton to say about it. It's just, I just summed up. Like, Karen really did kind of transcend into becoming one of my favorite characters on the show after I was very trepidatious about her role on the show, just seeing her just judged based on the pilot episode alone. So I guess for that reason, that really is why I'm gravitated towards it, especially because it just shows how far she's come and how much she's willing to stake in this whole fight. So that's it.
Okay, well, first let me just say the last thing of the young cast thing would probably be that Ben would probably just be the age of a father or something, like dad age. It'd be kind of hilarious. Like everyone,
Ben would be like young Morgan Freeman on the Electric Company.
Yeah. Okay. Other thing. Let me just play a little bit of the goes without saying. The fantastic blinding moment of awesome of our final confrontation. Play a little bit now. Play a little bit during the verdict. Okay.
Okay.
That's all.
Hello, could you nod or something? expect you to understand that. Moments when even I struggled, but he does. Almost, I suspect, as much as he loves his mother.
Okay, so my blind moment of awesome is Matt and Melvin Potter having their interaction together. Just seeing Matt kind of again deal with things in a different way with Melvin Potter, the man behind the bulletproof suit, which is awesome, by the way.
It's a great turning point for sure.
And basically just kind of devolves into, again, just seeing him. Well, he starts off fighting this guy. And by the way, again, just Matt, just the continuity of him being so beaten, it makes perfect sense. It's logical sense. Well, I don't want to fight this guy. This guy's going to tear me up.
Exactly.
I mean, the guy's a brawler, too, but I love this. He looks at it from a different angle. So he just gets him, like, on the ground for a second. And then the guy just breaks down emotionally, and he doesn't beat him into submission. He gets information from him. He hears him out. Again, he's playing kind of in a way, the sympathetic devil. You know, the devil lending an ear to the ailing person.
He is.
In a way, and again, it pays off brilliantly because we can tell that Melvin Potter isn't all there, and he actually cares about his social worker. Who, I believe it's like a social worker. Point is, like the lady who kind of helps him out, just helps him kind of stay on the straight path. I don't know if it was like a work release thing for him or something. Like I can assume he's had violent actions in the past, and someone presiding over him maybe. Point is,
they make it a little ambiguous, but you're right. It's pretty clear that there's something a little off with him for sure.
Yeah, he has some sort of difference. Let me play just kind of the ending of it here, which would really touch me. I love this kind of progression on Madness, this whole little segment here. It's like him inspiring hope in people, which is nice.
Because of the people that I care about, I know what it's like to worry about them. Wanting to keep them safe. Make you work for him too. No, I don't work for this. I want to stop him from hurting anyone else. Hurting Betsy. You could do that, maybe. Did you make a suit for Fisk? Did you make a suit lined with this? You made a whole bunch. Keeps him safe. Can you make something for me? You want a suit? Mr. Fisk? No. No, I want something very special. And if you do this for me, I promise to get Fisk out of your life. To keep Betsy safe. You can do that. With your help, I think maybe I can. What do you want me to make? A symbol.
Very nice, very nice. And again, it's overall, I love these. Talking to this guy, he's kind of have the mentality of a child, but he's. Him again, he's an innocent in all this. Just like he's good at making stuff and just channeling it through a certain outlet.
Yeah, definitely.
Just been strong-armed by Fisk, and it's just Matt kind of reaching people, inspiring hope in Hell's Kitchen. Very nice. Okay, so Braille Trail, really quick.
Okay, really quickly, let's get to Braille Trail. Okay, so yeah.
As we've always mentioned, great parallel of Fisk and Matt, the religion, the low point, kind of need of evolving and improving their methods so they're not in the place of weakness again. Foggy still accepting Matt's secrets. Karen and Ben with the mentorship. Karen becoming stronger and more confident. Fisk's mother as motivation on both fronts, and also love is Fisk's Achilles heel yet at the same time his driving engine. So again, it's kind of a dual thing. There's like right now he's seeing his weakness, but we're going to find it's driving engine, driving force. It's what gives him his power. Vanessa being case in point.
Mm-hmm.
We get Gladiator as our big draw from this, and he will be back for season 2. Whether I'm getting sense he might be suiting up. So Gladiator Tiki is Melvin Potter. He is going to suit up, and he throws those razor blade disc. That's
okay.
his
I would have never known that in years. Thank you.
And so you're going to see him in season 2 potentially suiting up because they hinted at him some promotional stuff. So
I assume he's on Matt's side, right?
Well, the thing is, he switched sides in the comics. He started off as a bad guy, and then he was on the side of good guys. And I believe, from what I hear,
that's kind of like what happens here. I mean, he wasn't necessarily a bad guy, but he was definitely working for the bad guy.
Yes. Now, from what I hear, they got him really on the money with this show. Like, Gladiator does have kind of a mental thing where he has a social worker named Betsy. It's all from a certain run of Daredevil.
Right. Gotcha.
And they got it there. So basically, like initially, just like as a Stan Lee days, just the guy who throws I'm not sure if he was in the Stanley days, but I remember his costume is very distinct. It looks very kind of olden time days. And I can imagine there was a revamp of where they added the stuff we see with it today. So I'm not quite sure about that. But regardless, they got him on the money there. So he might be switching sides or become kind of an anti-hero, misdirected in a way.
I could see, what if he maybe becomes another vigilante, but does things in a way that Matt doesn't agree with?
Well, I get a sense that he might be kind of the Lucius Fox.
Almost kind of like an Arkham Knight sort of situation.
Maybe, but the other thing's been speculated is that perhaps he's going to be going after Daredevil if something happened, if Kingpin retaliates for Betsy.
Oh, that could be, especially if he's mentally unstable, for
That's
sure.
the thing. So it could go that way, then Matt reels him back and kind of turns into a Lucius Fox kind of ally type guy. So
right. Oh, he's totally got some Lucius Fox shades to him as well.
So a bit of like making the tech, but at the same time might also be some additional muscle for if they need it.
So an unhinged Lucius Fox is essentially.
Yes. Also in that workshop, I'm not sure if it was this one, but it's like in the shop set, so no, it's definitely the next one. We see a Stiltman reference.
Nice.
He has, of all the kind of inventions and kind of the fashion, the supervillain fashion he has like giant stilts in the set somewhere, which implies Stiltman, which I'm not saying they're going to do it next season, but down the line, if they do it, it would be astounding.
Okay, what is it with Stiltman? Just tell us with Stiltman. Why would it be a statue?
Okay, follow me on this.
Okay,
okay. Just a guy in kind of an armored suit, and the idea
right.
I believe he was kind of a cross between a Daredevil and an Iron Man villain, but mainly Daredevil.
Okay.
And he has stilts that extend to make him very tall so he can commit crimes.
Is it kind of like Inspector Gadget style?
I'm saying that's in various forms. That's how they work.
And why exactly is that amazing?
I'm just saying that's the most ridiculous thing. The idea is even Deadpool has mocked this guy on various occasions. The idea is just Stiltman is one of the most ridiculous Marvel villains, and he'll be on screen. If they ever do that, that'll be amazing. It's
okay, so basically what you're saying is that it'd be amazing specifically for how campy it would be.
Yes, but still, the thing is, like, if you play Stiltman right in this show, it could be very great too. You have great characterization. We know.
Just give him a tragic backstory, some good motivation, a monologue or two, and yeah.
You remember, camp has become awesome these days. You got to remember, so they can pull it off, make it work somehow.
That's one of my problems with Marvel is that I think Marvel's a little too campy, at least in the cinematic front. But nah.
Well, I mean, I think they've been able to
see where they go with Phase 3.
I'm just saying what they could really work is they bring in the stuff from the page directly to the screen in ways we have never really thought of it possible for. I'm saying eventually Marvel does get their hands on Fantastic Four. We get Galactus on screen. This is like the small path.
Oh my god, I do want Galactus.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if we can get Stiltman, we can pretty much, that's the doorway of like, let's get, that's the most ridiculous thing. Literally, like Deadpool has literally said, like, Stiltman, seriously, Stiltman, the most ridiculous bad guy in the whole Marvel universe.
So he literally flat out called him the most ridiculous villain in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, like ridiculous, or he made fun of like the most, like the dumbest villain in the Marvel, like those silliest, that sort of thing.
Wow.
Anyway, so let's see. So sleek, again, the sleek bulletproof material is coming back with a suit for Matt Murdock on the horizon. A Daredevil suit.
Of course.
Ben is in danger with the story he's working on. Of course, there's going to be some fallout for Wesley's death.
Oh yeah.
Let me play that as we get into our final thoughts. Let me just play that, just kind of get us into it. Just the last vestige.
You're going to convince Mr. Uric that everything is fine, that you were wrong, that Wilson Fisk is a good man, a man the city needs, and then you're going to spread the gospel to everyone infected with your negativity. I'd rather die first. Could you be the first to die on this page? No, I think Mr. Uric will have that honor. Then we'll go to your place of employment, see to Mr. Nelson, Mr. Murdoch. After that, your friends, your family, everyone you ever cared about when you have no tears left to shed. And we'll come for you this page.
gun is in her hand.
You really think I would put a loaded gun on the table where you could reach it? I think it's the first time I've shot someone. This page.
Bingo.
Now, as much as we love Wesley, you got to admit, his last moments, he got pretty damn evil.
He did, but I mean that. But the thing is, it wasn't exactly evil. That's what Kingpin. That's the idea. That's why that one guy impaled. That's why Healy impaled himself.
Exactly.
This goes after everyone you care about. That's his modus operandi. I mean, if you cross him, that's the reason you don't say his name until now. It's the reason. It's like,
Okay.
he will track down your family. He will kill your bloodline.
All right, so with that in mind, let's get into our final segment of the night. The final thoughts. The Nelson and Burdock verdict. How do you plead?
I plead awesome. This episode is great.
Yeah, this episode really surprised me just in terms of there's not really a whole ton of action. I mean, there's the one like half fight with Matt and I'm sorry, Matt and the suit guy.
Matt and Potter. Matt and Melvin Potter.
Potter.
Or Gladiator, whatever you want to say.
Potter. You're a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard, Melvin. I'm sorry.
Is that really the joke you wanted to make?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
Melvin Potter fight was very good. It was just the episode on the whole was such good growth and reflection. It was a great reflection episode. Everyone's taking a moment looking at how far they've come and just going for what they need to do. And of course, Karen was the big kind of centerpiece of that, along with Matt.
Definitely.
It was solid action and pathos.
A lot of pathos, a hell of a lot of pathos for sure.
And inside-out tissues.
So yeah, I'd say that's about it then, right?
And of course, shocking conclusion too. It was
Of course.
That's the memorable.
I don't really have much to add. I think that we pretty much covered it all. So
yeah.
All right. Okay. So with that in mind, that's all for now. Until our daring next installment of Discerning Daredevil. Excelsior.
Well said.
So she quoted a fortune cookie or some such mystical bullshit.